If I were moving to Charleston, South Carolina today, I'd move to Mount Pleasant. Yes, that's right. Not downtown, not West Ashley, not even Daniel Island. If I were packing up the family and heading for the low country, Mount Pleasant is where I'd plant my flag, because Mount Pleasant is the perfect blend of everything people move to Charleston for. The coastal beauty, the charm, the lifestyle, without giving up space, convenience, or your sanity. So people always ask me, well, Ryan, what's the energy of Mount Pleasant? Like, who's living there? What's that like? And the best way for me to explain it is Mount Pleasant is the sweet spot between city life, right? Because you got Charleston right there, and coastal calm, where you can just go out on a boat and chill, or go to Shem Creek and hang out. It's where the marsh meets modern living. You've got the Ravenel Bridge connecting you to downtown Charleston in minutes, and beaches like Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms, literally right down the road. So you can go from downtown dinner reservations to sand between your toes in about the same time it takes someone in Somerville to find parking at Starbucks. And that's not a joke. It's getting crazy. Somerville's getting a little crazy. All right, pro number one. Location of Mount Pleasant is everything. Let's start with the obvious, shall we? Mount Pleasant's location is unreal. You're minutes from downtown Charleston. You're about 15 minutes from the beach, and you're surrounded by some of the best schools. Guys, Google Mount Pleasant schools, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Not to mention, the restaurant scene here is just fire. You got restaurant owners from downtown Charleston opening up restaurants in Mount Pleasant. The neighborhoods are absolutely amazing, and you can't even deny that they're just constantly adding things without having to stress out the infrastructure. It's central without being congested, you know, and that's the thing I really like about Mount Pleasant. You can still breathe. You can still go to the grocery store without having to do a 35-minute painstaking traffic. Not to mention, you're right by two of the most iconic bridges in South Carolina, the Ravenel and the Ben Sawyer. Those bridges just aren't roadways. They're daily postcard views. You will see people walking the bridges, taking selfies, everything. I mean, they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're architectural landmarks. The other thing I'll say about Mount Pleasant is pro number two, lifestyle. I like to consider it coastal luxury, but convenient, because Mount Pleasant is where coastal lifestyle just meets suburban comfort. You've got marinas, golf courses, waterfront parks. You got walking trails that look like they're straight out of a travel magazine. Then right around the corner, you got every convenience you could ever want. Costco, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, boutique gyms, top-rated restaurants. It's the best of both worlds. You have vacation energy with everyday functionality, and that's why Mount Pleasant just is always on everybody's radar. This is where you can spend your morning paddleboarding at Shem Creek and then grab shrimp and tacos at Saltwater Cowboys and still make your 2 p.m. showing or conference call. All right, pro number three, community and school. So families love Mount Pleasant, and that's not a joke. The schools here are some of the best in the state. You have Wando, Lucy Beckham, Moultrie, Oceanside, and they're all highly rated and competitive. It's also a safe, tight-knit community. You'll see kids on bikes. Like, I drove through Carolina Park the other day, tons of kids on bikes, people on golf carts, cruising around, and there's a lot of families at Waterfront Park watching the sunset over the bridge. It's the kind of place where neighbors actually know each other, and it's a very tight-knit space. Like, if you move into Mount Pleasant, you'll start to get to know people, and then people will know you, and it's everybody knows everybody. But you still have your privacy and your space, and that's kind of the best of all worlds. Like, you can be as outgoing as you want, or you can be as introverted as you want. It doesn't matter. You get whatever it is you want. Now, the next pro I'll talk about is pro number four. So they have a variety of different style of neighborhoods. So if you're someone that's just looking for, you know, something a little bit more laid back, low key, they've got it for you. If you're looking for something with acreage, they've got it for you. And that's the one thing I love about Mount Pleasant. There's something for everyone. You want waterfront luxury? Go to Old Village, Ion, or Hobcaw Point. You want new construction with amenities? Go to Park West, Dunes West, or Carolina Park. You want established, quiet, and close to downtown? Try Cooper Estates or Bell Hall. There's just not one Mount Pleasant look. There are dozens, and each neighborhood has its own identity and vibe. You can go from million-dollar marsh views to cozy family neighborhoods to walkable mixed-use communities like Midtown, all within a few miles. Now, pro number 5 of living in Mount Pleasant is appreciation and investment value. Let's talk money. Mount Pleasant real estate holds its value like few other markets in South Carolina. While prices have climbed, demand has stayed strong because supply is limited. Land is scarce and development is tighter, and people want to be here. Right now, there's a building moratorium that is limiting how many homes can be built in Mount Pleasant. So if you buy in Mount Pleasant, you're not just buying a house, you're buying stability and a long-term value in this market, even during market slowdowns. I mean, people thought that when the interest rates went up, that all the prices would drop in Mount Pleasant, and they actually did the opposite. They kind of went up. So Mount Pleasant tends to hold strong because there's always someone ready to move closer to the coast or the bridge. It's Charleston's version of prime real estate, and that's what you have to know about Mount Pleasant. Now, pro number 6 is the restaurants, the shopping, and the nightlife. This isn't the sleepy suburb people imagine. So Shem Creek alone is worth moving here for. I mean, dockside dining, live music, dolphins swimming by while you're eating shrimp and grits. You've got Saltwater Cowboys, Red's Ice House, Tavern and Table, Vickery's, places where you can dock your boat, pull up in flip-flops, and still have an amazing meal. This place is incredible. I love Shem Creek. And there's Coleman Boulevard, Town Center, so many boutiques, like little shops and strip plazas. Not to mention, you have rooftop bars and all the national favorite options. So tons of chains here as well, all within 10 minutes of each other. And you don't have to go downtown to have fun. But if you want, you can be on King Street in 15 minutes. You can go to one of the many rooftop nightclubs or bars or social scenes downtown. All right, pro number 7, beach access. So you're right there. You've got Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, just minutes away. Some people pay thousands a year for a beach club, okay? Mount Pleasant is basically one. Like, you can finish work, grab the kids, and have your toes in the sand before sunset. That's a lifestyle you can't get in Somerville or Goose Creek. And here's the thing, once you live this close to the water, you'll never want to move inland again. All right, guys, let's talk reality though, because yeah, Mount Pleasant is incredible, but it's not perfect. So we got to dive into some of the cons. Con number 1, price. Ugh. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, shall we? Mount Pleasant isn't cheap. It's one of the most expensive zip codes in the Charleston area. Homes can easily start in the 700s and go into the millions, especially if you're near the water or one of the established neighborhoods that I've spoken about recently. But here's the deal. You get what you pay for. Location, lifestyle, safety, schools, it all comes with a premium. If you're looking for the best value per square foot, then this isn't it. If you're looking for the best life per square foot, this might be exactly where you want to be. And con number 2, traffic. But let's be honest, traffic's everywhere and can get heavy during rush hour. So if you're someone that's like, hey, I don't need to commute for work, well, great. You're probably going to run into very few little traffic. Now, I will say this, the Ravenel Bridge is one of the most scenic drives in the state until you're sitting on it at 5:30 p.m. But that's the price of living near one of the fastest growing and most desirable coastal towns in the entire country. And why? Well, because we still have our freedoms here. We believe in the nuclear family. We believe in the Christian values that this country was built upon. So definitely a desirable area to move, and you can see why. And once you learn the back roads, Coleman, Rifle Range, Chuck Dolly, Mathis Ferry, you'll start to feel like a local who knows all of the shortcuts, because that's where I drive. All right, con number 3, limited land and HOA restrictions. Now, Mount Pleasant is pretty built out, and so finding large lots or new construction can kind of be tough. And if you're in one of the big planned neighborhoods, the HOAs can be, well, let's just say enthusiastic. They'll remind you about that trash can you left out. They'll be checking your mailbox to make sure it's the right color of Charleston green. But hey, that's the part of why the community looks so good. All right, moving on. Con number 4, cost of living. So in Mount Pleasant, groceries, restaurants, and services all carry that Mount Pleasant markup. And it's not crazy, but you're gonna notice it. It's like the difference between shopping at Target and Whole Foods. You're paying a little more for experience and the convenience. So, you know, when you look at the prices of things, gas, it'll be a little bit more expensive than compared to Somerville or Goose Creek. You're just gonna pay a little bit more, but the benefit is you're gonna be able to go out to a restaurant and have a nice dinner without riffraff or any problems or any headaches and anything like that. That's the benefit of being in these areas. Now, let's break down why I'd still pick Mount Pleasant over some of Charleston's other top spots. So let's talk about downtown Charleston. Downtown has history, no doubt, nightlife, and it has an energy that most people are looking for. But it also has tight parking, high flood insurance, and very small yards and tons of college kids running all over the city. It's amazing to visit, but to live there full time with kids, pets, or a growing family, that's where Mount Pleasant wins. You get the beauty without the daily chaos. Now let's talk about Somerville. Somerville's amazing for affordability and community, but you're 45 minutes away from the beach, if not more. You're also sitting in a lot more traffic getting downtown. Mount Pleasant keeps you close to the action, and for many people relocating here, that's everything. Like, not sitting in a car 2 hours a day means more to them, paying maybe a couple grand more in their mortgage per month. Maybe that's more important to them than sitting in that 2 hours. So that's the big difference between Mount Pleasant and Somerville. Now, Daniel Island is gorgeous and upscale. And people always say, well, wouldn't you pick Daniel Island over Mount Pleasant? And honestly, I would if the prices were a little different. So you're a little further away from downtown, but you're still paying that premium. And if Mount Pleasant gives you the access and more variety to accessibility with the same level of luxury, and I don't have to pay $2 million more, I'd stick with Mount Pleasant. Well, what about West Ashley and James Island, Ryan? Well, these areas are great value and alternatives, but Mount Pleasant has newer schools, higher resale value, and more of a polished infrastructure. It's the difference between emerging and established, right? Why Mount Pleasant is the best balance. I mean, when you add it all up, Mount Pleasant is like the sweet spot. You're close to downtown, you're close to the beach, you have fantastic schools, it has beautiful neighborhoods, low crime, great restaurants, strong property values, and that coastal low country lifestyle that everyone dreams of. It's Charleston living without the Charleston headache. So whether you're buying your forever home or a second home or an investment property, Mount Pleasant is one of the safest long-term bets in the entire Southeast. People are moving here from everywhere: New York, New Jersey, Chicago, California, and they're bringing a strong demand for high quality homes close to the coast. That keeps appreciation high and steady, and the demand is consistent. Even when the national market slows down, Mount Pleasant speeds up. So if you're asking me, Ryan, where would you move to in Charleston, South Carolina? I would move to Mount Pleasant because honestly, Mount Pleasant gives you everything people move to Charleston for without giving up space, comfort, or convenience. It's family friendly, beach close, safe, scenic, and it just feels good to live here. So whether you're relocating from out of state, downsizing, or just chasing that low country dream, don't overlook Mount Pleasant. It's more than a suburb, it's a lifestyle, and it just might be the best lifestyle for you and your family. So once again, I'm Ryan McHugh, your neighborhood expert with the Buy From Rye team. And if you were moving to Charleston, I'd give me a call so I can help you guys relocate here and do it successfully. Once again, Ryan McHugh, 843-226-5535. If you're planning on moving to Mount Pleasant, go ahead and shoot me a text. I'd be happy to help you. And if you want to see more great neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant, click this video right here.